C2,
Here.
C4,
Present.
Benny Alvarez,
That would leave me C5, yeah. I never.
John Boyd,
Here.
District Treasurer, and District Manager.
I'm here.
For the record, District Engineer, Mr. Bennett will not be present.
And John Fumero, I just called him and his answer on a message was, I'm in a call, I'll call you right back.
All right, very well. Okay, so we'll shift this around a little bit. Do we have any public comments?
Wait, give us 2 minutes.
Yeah, get your 2 minutes out the way, Josh.
Real quick, we're doing a couple things. One, we're gonna Saturday, we're gonna try to paint that gate. We had a couple guys gonna get together or whatever. Saturday morning, get that gate painted. Maybe do like a little bit more of a cleanup around the gate area, so forth on. We put in an email for the meetings. I just wanna make sure everybody get those. Anybody go through that? We were talking about doing our meetings. I also wanna make sure that it was okay, that there's no confusion or nothing that's going on. And it's okay that we do our meetings here in Central County.
Well, we need to vote on that?
Okay. I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page.
I want to ask you what's the motion.
Yes, sir.
Are you going to have a deputy present here at the meeting?
I don't feel that, we never did before. Yeah, we've had meetings here before, but, we don't feel the need to. I mean, Central County feels the need to, that they can.
Because, nowadays, those days, they're going to be having meetings. They're going to be polling access, right?
What is it?
They're going to be polling access to meetings.
Yes.
Polling is going to be able to come to meetings.
Yeah, it's all public, yeah, always. There's no sense of having a
The
meeting if it
gate-
wasn't.
The gate will be open.
Right.
I believe, yeah.
Well, if that's something y'all need to require, I mean, they don't bother us. I mean, either way, if that's what y'all want, that'd be all wrong.
Hopefully,
Yeah.
protection of yourself and
Not a
go
problem.
both ways.
I don't see a problem with
That's
it.
my, I make a motion.
Actually, we don't, so here going forward, there is no motions on the floor, it is the agenda, it's on the agenda. So if you guys want to bring it up in the next meeting, we can discuss it, or discuss it on the agenda.
Yeah, we sent an email in for it to put on the agenda, but I guess, I don't know what happened.
I don't think it is on the agenda.
We talking about the last meeting.
Right, yeah, it's like the second or third time we talked about this.
When is the?
May 1st.
May 1st?
Yeah, it was changed. We had it for April 3rd, I believe, but because just so much going on with the Easter and the clubhouse, and we thought it was best just to go ahead and postpone it for the next month. That way there's no confusion or anything like that.
Gotcha.
At this point in time, we need to actually see if we can actually have a meeting, and then we'll set up an actual date. It'd probably be around, say, 2:30.
Have you guys, where were you holding the meeting before?
Right here.
And what was the concept of you holding meetings here moving forward from then to now?
I don't know.
Well, actually,
It started because of the COVID. Everything
Okay.
stopped.
And then
Now we're trying to pick back up, but there's been some changes, I guess, with all the equipment and so forth on and stuff like that, so,
okay.
yeah.
The only thing will be the sheriff actually, because the board already gave him permission to do the meeting.
Yeah.
So he's not, he's not really asking permission to do the meeting.
Right, we just wanna make sure there's no confusion or any disregard or anything for it.
Understood.
We're trying to work together on this.
Okay.
Monthly meeting.
Yeah, it's a monthly meeting, we'll have it once a month, we're trying to have it on the first Saturday, of every month if possible. I think that was Easter, or whatever, but I mean, we could change it, if it's a conflict with what the clubhouse has got going on or whatever, we can change it around. But at least we'll have an actual, it'll be once a month, the first Saturday of every month, we'll start out that way. About 3 o'clock.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it. Anybody else from the community? We have,
I just wanted to reiterate what Josh stated. It was already approved.
Yes.
He was just letting us know that it was gonna be on the first Saturday of the month.
okay.
And so that's why it didn't go on the agenda, Josh, okay? Because they had already agreed on that.
Right.
But if we have anything with that, that's why we put that logo there, so you guys can.
Right.
Any more public comments? We're gonna close this.
Thanks.
Christoph, 266 Avenue, the club. I got a question about the Guardians of the Reservoir's Facebook page
Okay,
and who's in charge and who controls it.
okay.
'Cause I was trying to get some information on what's going on with the reservoir, but I've been blocked on it. So I've just been trying to figure out how do I talk to them, y'all.
All right, so we'll get that information to you as soon as possible, and, we'll figure out from there.
We can talk about it right now.
Actually, we're trying to stick with the agenda, but, the gentleman's there, we can talk to him after, because our last meeting was like 4 hours. We're not trying to have that right now, we're not trying to have an open forum as well, but we'll definitely get you that information, so whatever you need, is that all that you need? How to get, what
Yeah,
information on
and-
Facebook?
And within the elections, do they hold elections for their positions or are they appointed? And how long, if they do have elections, how long does their positions run? Because other people in the community would like to sit on their board, on their committee.
Positions. What else, what was that? Hold on a second.
How long they were elected for?
If they are elected or if they're appointed, what's their time to be on? If it's a year, 2 years?
From the meeting notes, they were appointed, correct?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So if I may, Mr. Chairman, very briefly.
Sure.
And then we can park the issue and discuss it.
Go ahead.
Later. So, the Guardians of the Reservoir are an advisory committee to this board. So, they exist under the umbrella of this board. So, the fact that they exist is because this board wants them to exist. And they end when this board decides to end. Membership is decided by this board. The size of the committee is decided by this board. The scope of what they do and don't do is decided by this board. So, and they've done a great job. Anybody can form a committee. You can say we are the keepers of the reservoir, and you can do anything you want. Sure. Have any kind of membership, but if it's Guardians of the Reservoir, the advisory committee of this board, then they're subject to certain constraints, just like we are. You are as elected officials. So I had, Chris called me, last week, and we spoke about it briefly. And I think it is, it's a discussion that'll take some time.
Yeah.
Respectfully, I think it's a discussion worth having by you, so that you can, it's always good to look at things mid-course and say, we need to tweak a little here, a little there. But, you know, it's a committee that's served obviously a very important purpose and achieved a lot. And I think it's good to always look under the hood every once in a while to see how things are progressing.
Sure.
And so what I would convey to you, I conveyed to Chris.
Sure.
And, you know, I think that we should put something on the agenda in the future and have a good discussion.
Just because the committee's pretty broad, there's no structure to it, there's really, y'all follow sunshine law, right? So, does that apply to them? If it doesn't, there needs to be some kind of structure, because it's just kind of put together. And I've asked this before, how does this run? Or how does it operate? And I never got an answer, and I'm here probably 5 months later, or even more, and we never got an answer.
Okay. All right, so we're trying to get you some. Any more questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else in the community? Stand up.
Yes, I wasn't able to fill out one of your forms, I don't know if you need that.
Go ahead.
I was just wondering that, I brought up a dispute regarding an invoice that I received for a record search that I had submitted back in April of last year.
Okay.
I was wondering if this board ever voted on that dispute. I know if there was a lot of communications done by myself with all the staff from Central County and including all the board members, with the exception of the new board members. Obviously, the new board members probably don't know anything about it, but I was wondering if I've watched the videos. I know that you guys adopted a new policy, a 10-page policy. The only thing is that because my dispute was the lack of policy, I don't believe that I should have not been charged an hourly rate. I was only aware of the duplication fee at the time. I was provided with that policy from Becca. So again, like I said, that invoice, it added the time, the hours that it took for, Central County staff to gather all that I had requested.
Sure.
But like I said, I was disputing it, and I I was wondering if you guys ever decided anything about it, did you guys speak about it? Because I never received anything, I don't know. My communication was always with, Becca.
Okay.
I emailed her on Monday as well, and I still have not received a response as to, if something ever, anything ever happened. I did know that she did mention to me that any kind of dispute had to be brought up to the board,
Okay.
and that was it.
Okay, I think John's gonna
So,
pass that one
I
out.
can tell you, no, they never voted, nor should they. Nor would I recommend you ever vote. Those are administrative matters that should be handled by the staff. If something blew up and became an issue, you can bring it to the board's attention, but I personally don't think you need to waste time getting involved in the day-to-day operations and those charged with public records requests. Something like so, it's never been brought to, or should, in my view. You're right about the policy. I drafted the policy, and I drafted the policy, we had nothing in writing. The people, I think, deserve to have something in writing they can see before anything happens. And so this was put in after your public records request. However, the statute always allowed recovery of costs and extraordinary expenses. We're not required to have a policy. I recommend that the board adopt a policy because I think it's a good idea to have something in writing that everybody can see. I think, if I recall correctly, I think what we're referring to is there was a public records request made that required a great deal of staff time.
Sure.
And so, under the law, and now under the policy, if something takes an extraordinary amount of time, you're able, an agency such as Central County is able to charge the actual cost, not more, the actual cost of processing the request.
Sure. And what was the invoice amount?
It was actually $208.50. I do have packets for every single one of you that I did create, if you wanna go ahead and take a look at that. And also what I was given by Central County after I had put in my request, and also, I do wanna make a note that, and I'll bring it to your attention to be mindful that you guys have you have a records request form that is uploaded online. Which obviously, the law doesn't provide, or doesn't require for anything to be in writing when you're requesting a record search. You can do verbal, but obviously as a courtesy of the community, and to help out the staff to better assisting the community, that form always helps as well. But if you take a look at that form, it's very misleading. And the reason why I say it's very misleading is because it gives you 3 options, if I'm not mistaken, it gives you 3 options, or 4 options, on what, if, as part of your request, if you're wanting it to be made viewable, just so you can look at it, if you're wanting copies of it, if you're wanting copies mailed to you, or if you're just wanting copies to be faxed to you. I will say that the option that I selected, which indicates make copies for pickup by requester, the requester will be invoiced and must pay for the copies before the copies are released. Now, where it does talk about that there might be an additional cost for an extensive use of information technologies or excessive resources or extensive clerical or supervisory assistance, is only to option 1, which I did not select that.
Okay.
So like I said, my biggest issue with this is because I was never properly noticed. What I was given was basically this, that just referenced a duplication fee. That's it. So that's the reason why, and in watching the past videos, when you guys adopted your 10-page policy, I did see and I did notice where a lot of the board members were very adamant about letting the community know beforehand of your policy. That way there's no misunderstanding.
Should be done.
So that's the reason why I'm bringing it up now. I don't believe that I should be responsible for paying for something that I was never properly notified that that's what it was going to be. I've done records requests in the past year with Becca, and it's always been talked about a duplication. Never has there ever been anything about, now I understand, like I said, it does say if it requires more than, now your new policy is where if it requires more than 15 minutes duration time, then you can charge that hourly fee. So that's what's established after the policy, so that was never talked about, never established prior to my records request. And that's the reason why I was disputing it, because I don't feel that I should. I agreed to a duplication fee, which the duplication fee was $42.90. That's what I agreed upon. I never agreed for I never was notified either.
Gotcha.
So, like I said, that's the reason why I was disputing it. the invoice, I needed to bring it upon the board's attention. Now, during these emails, everybody was included in the emails. As board members, the manager, and also even, John.
Sure. And and you make a great point, but as, what we try to do as much as possible, so you know, is allow the clerical staff to take care of the day-to-day operations. A lot of times, where I've been, scolded a lot of times, is that, we get too far into the weeds, and we get involved in the day-to-day, and that's really not what we're here for, to get in the day-to-day. But I would suggest that you reach out to the staff as well as to the attorney and see what they come up with, and we'll support whatever they come up with. Wait. So here going forward, I just wanna let the board know, here going forward, you gotta ask, because we're not gonna have a round robin, there's not gonna be a circus here going forward. So if you wanna have the floor, you say, hey, Chair, can I have the floor? I'll tell you yay or nay, so we can go forward, because last time it was a 4-hour show. I'm not gonna put up with a 4-hour show. Do you have any questions?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
What is the issue? What is the issue?
What is the issue, what?
The
The
issue
records
of-
that I requested?
Yes, yes,
I wanted statements, credit card statements, for year period of 2018 to the time this was from 2020. Which, I mean,
Hold on, let's go. Yeah,
Can you go?
right, just a credit card statement. Yeah,
From
and
us,
those-
from us,
right, from the manager's credit card that he has, is the credit card, the company credit card that he currently has. I wanted the statements from 2018 to the time that I requested, the date that I requested, which was 2020. So for 2018 and 2020.
Now I know what you were
That's
talking
what it was for.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay.
Go for it. Go ahead.
When did you put the invoice in?
As far as what? When did I put it in
When did you put the invoice in?
when did I dispute the invoice?
Yes.
It was actually June 4th, 2020. I received the invoice. Okay, so this is a timeline, just so you have it. I submitted my request on April 16, 2020. The acknowledgement, my email was acknowledged through email, because that's where I submitted. It was acknowledged the same day. I received the invoice May 26th. I acknowledged the invoice on May 27th. I responded to the invoice disputing it on June 6th. And then Rebecca replied to my dispute on August 18th, saying that I needed to bring it up to the board's attention.
Do you have the date when they adopted the new policy?
I believe that's probably something that y'all should probably have, but I think I went as far as I could on whatever you guys have on YouTube. I know there were several meetings that were canceled. There was one meeting that was supposed to be talked about, it was canceled. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I watched the video for the meeting that was held on July 22nd, and that's where you guys voted on the 10-page policy.
The previous board?
Right.
Yes, sir, please.
Okay, 'cause the question I wanted to know was, when did you put the request for it, and when the policy adopting the new requirements was added? Because if it was added after the fact, you should still be applying by the old rules, because you were only informed after that fact, correct?
And that was the reason for my dispute, yes.
All right, so the attorney will get back with you as soon as possible. We thank you.
Okay,
And he'll get with you as well as our office manager.
all right, thank you.
Anybody else? We can keep it moving. Any other public comments? All right, thank you. Board, if you would, I've got one, John, we switched this around a little bit. We're waiting on you. We have an email request. This is from, excuse me, Kim, but this is Kim from Kim Clemens. New to the community, will answer certain things. The resident asked about requests for projects, and if John, and if the community could raise funds for certain projects, like for instance, the mailbox expansion. Just want you to highlight a few of these things. Repainting, decorating Montour Ranch estate signage. The one on Avenida del Club, paving Kennel Street, paving Verda Street where the resident lives, the annual pool upkeep annual funds. And she asked a few other questions that I won't, answer at this present moment. So can you speak on behalf of that, John?
Actually, no, I was just handed this. so
Okay.
I have to read it first.
Sure,
But if the question is, can people do fundraisers?
sure.
And absolutely.
Okay. So what if they want to do fundraisers to pave, kennel?
They can do fundraisers for anything.
Gotcha.
To improve their community, I'm sure. it
What
would
about
be
the-
applauded.
What about the funding? So her question is, with the funding, who's gonna take control of the funding? Those are the things that concern most of us.
Yeah, that wouldn't be the government, that would be, they would do, it would be like like Dan, you have a 501c3, and you can raise money and do community-based activities, or contribute monies to improve the clubhouse, roads, anything.
So it would be outside of the central
Yeah, that
county?
would be, those monies wouldn't be managed by Central County, if that's the question.
Okay.
All right, I see something about mailboxes, that's not us, that's Central County, that's correct. Yeah, repainting, decorating, I've seen that happen many places, like for.
Like beautification or something?
Where I live in my city, there's a 501c3 that beautifies the parks. They go once a year, they plant trees, flowers, things like that, so
Okay.
that's all very good.
Okay. Thank you, John. We're gonna go back to the agenda. So, we'll go to number 2. Board, do we have any, as well as the office staff, do we have any additions, deletions, or substitution of the agenda items for this meeting? Remedial, Becky, any board members? No? Okay. We need approval for the board meeting minutes for January 27th, 2020. Do we have a motion on the floor? Is that 2020 or 2021? We have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second? We have a second. All in favor? Aye. Meeting minutes approved for January 27th, 2021. So we're done with the public comments. All right. For number 4, John, you want to discuss this, the adoption of the performance evaluation for the manager, Mr. Manager?
Yes, sir, so that's come before you 2 or 3 times now.
Yes, sir.
I know you all wanted to look at it, so really the issue is, if you have questions, comments, you want to add anything, delete anything, adopt it. Remember, once it's adopted, then we're going to have a performance period of 6 months. And then we can do the manager's performance evaluation. I haven't received any comments or questions from anyone so far. This would be the time.
Any comments back from the board to,
Is it here?
It's right where it says attorney.
the floor is yours.
It's right behind,
I see.
the kids.
Mr. Romero, I think, the evaluation is outstanding. Finally got it tweaked down, like you mentioned, we tweaked it down to what it needed to be done. On a business level, as reading it and going over it, as a business person, I understand it. I'm speaking on behalf of myself. And, others, board members that may not have the business experience, may look at it differently or grade it differently. Now, I don't know how many gallons of water goes out there, how much the pumps are run. Yes, I did take a ride. I came in one day and asked Emilio to go ahead and take me out and we look at the pumps. And small details tell me how the operation works out here. Okay? Glad I took it, listened to it, just placed it behind my head. That's not my day-to-day operations, but at least I have a vision of what his job scope is. Now, I believe us as board members, should take the time, if they haven't done so, to spend some time and, read this over and focus on what we're looking for. Because when it comes down to doing this evaluation, we need to know what we write in there, we just can't shoot from our head. It's good. So, that's my 2 cents on this right here. And the form, it's good, but again, we as a board need to know what his day-to-day operations is. Again, my 2 cents, and so we can be able to go ahead and evaluate him, as needed and correctly. Not just shoot from his. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Santiago, do you have anything to add?
No.
Are we gonna adopt the form?
Any questions at this time?
I agree with what he said. Before you signed it, you put it in on, you didn't know what he's doing, but he's clear.
Mr. Santiago, any questions?
It's fine with me. The only thing that I want to mention is that Daniel brought up a discussion that we had with you before about the employees being able to monitor, like you said.
Yeah, we're talking about these evaluations.
Yes, sir.
We're talking about his evaluations.
Yes, I know. What I'm saying is, we disclose his evaluation. That's right. Daniel mentioned that the employees should be posted to him. I disagree with that. That's the only thing. Everything else, it's fine.
Yeah, that's not in his evaluation. Yeah. All right, so do we have a motion on the floor to adopt this evaluation form for the evaluating the manager yearly? We have a motion on the floor, we have a second?
So,
All in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries for the performance evaluation for the district manager. Next one is discuss vote on driveway permit for I'm assuming these are the culverts. Who has the floor on this? Is that yourself?
Again, we're trying to modernize the operations of the organization. One thing there was some questions, several months ago about driveway permits, the material that's used, what's acceptable. And I had never looked at the driveway permit. When I looked at it, I realized it was very old and didn't have much substance. So I drafted a real permit. So permits, you know, you've got a permit, it says you can do this, and then there's conditions. And so that's what this is. The engineer, this has been 2 or 3 meetings as well.
Sure.
Engineers looked at it, he gave me comments, incorporated his comments, and me, I don't know, I really want to hear from the guys that work on this day in and day out to make sure it's.
Well, actually, the engineer and myself, we went over together all the phone. So his comment was also my comment.
This is just, again, an effort to, what we had before was actually, it was a permit application and a permit.
Sure.
So it turned into a permit, and once it got signed.
We have that here?
No, that's.
The previous package. Previous meeting.
No, he's there, it's at the end.
The old permit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That should be there.
It's the same as we had this the last meeting. This is a copy of it.
Yeah, you know, it's fill in the blanks, the name, what's being authorized, anything else you want to add. And there's, you know, conditions. You got to make sure that it's compacted. You have to manage erosion, shoaling, you know, basic things. The reason I came up with this, I got a water management district permit and borrowed some of the conditions that it made sense. Just brought it into this.
Can we make it into one page? Run it back?
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
Do we have any questions on the board to any of our
request, the cost for individual culvert permitting. Through the years, we've been charging a small amount, and we have been forgetting our cost. So I asked the board and Emilio to come up with a cost. How much does it cost us per culvert? Per inspection and everything that has to be regarding that permit? How much cost and time is in that? Well, as you all have there, it came up at $80.56. That's our cost. And what we're charging now is 75.
Yes, sir.
So, in 2 meetings ago, we tabled a culvert pricing. It's on your left hand side. I don't know if you see it here. See it?
Yes.
So, we tabled
This one, on the front part of the
an up price.
no.
An up price on our culverts, raising the prices to cover our costs. Again, like Mr. Mata says, we're not gonna become a cash cow, but we need to figure out what we're doing and what's been happening in the last 18 years. I had a discussion outside, and with some other people as well. 18 years ago, the cost on rock, on fill, pennies. Versus nowadays, 18 years of cost, increase in cost of livelihood cost of living has increased immensely. So, we're losing money. Every year we continue to lose money. I'm looking at the budgets, and every single year we lose money, and constantly losing money. Therefore, I suggested that we come up with a price with these permits, with these new permits, and the new, I don't know if we have to write them in or anything like that, but we have to come up with a new price on the culvert permit. And I think tonight is one of those nights that, we can move forward and finalize. And all 5 of us are here. Mr. Chair, I have nothing to
Secretary, get the floor.
Speaking on behalf of the community, those that have lived here, their culvert's been here for, let's say, rough number, 10, 15 years. Sometime, when we get to it, their culvert may need to be redone with elevation and redoing of the road. I don't think they should pay the new fee being here 15 years. Now, someone who is moving here, that's gonna develop here, the new fee should be adapted onto their land. They should pay the new fee. Because it comes to where we are growing, we are developing and making Montour beautiful. And for those coming here, they should be adapted onto what is gonna happen. They should put the new policy, the new procedure for the new, culvert. But people who have been here for years, decades, they shouldn't get a steep fee because we as government officials are going in there and, fixing things up. They should just still pay what they've been paying, the $80.56. But for someone who's just buying a house, they add that onto their house now. That gets put on there, they pay out their mortgage. They can pay that fee. If it's $150, $125, it's one time for the rest of your life until 35 years after it gets done. When we say, we gotta come back and do it again, we'll be in the same predicament as we are now, and if we're still on the board by that time, or a new board member, they will understand why we did that. That's how I think this should be implemented and worked out.
Thank you. For 15 years.
Got the floor, baby.
Are y'all ready for the pricing part of this?
Well, wait, let me see if he has a question. Santana, you have any question?
I believe Mr. Benny and myself, recently, but first, I wanna see what Benny Hampton's pumping, for us.
Well, you got the floor. Go ahead, Ben. You have the floor.
My number's $200, and I agree with what he said. Anyone that's paid the price before, if something has to be redone, that's where they are. Anybody that comes, and I'm not so sure we should start today, maybe we should start from a year ago. I mean, we're not gonna like bill them, but everybody say from a year back, goes for the new prices. If you gotta redo something, that's where you are. I agree with that. Because, if you don't have to
Clarify that one, how you wanna talk?
You see, that's what,
You
That's what I wanna hear.
Can you
I wanna
clarify
hear
a
that.
little bit
That's
on
what I
that?
wanna hear. I have the floor on that.
You have the floor.
Thank you.
You threw me off a little bit when going back for a year, back and forth.
Like you said,
I'm still on the floor, I'm
Still,
still.
gotcha, go ahead.
Hold on, easy boy, easy. No, I agree with what he said about whoever's been here, that's paid the old fee, if they have to redo something, you're not gonna go charge them a new fee to redo it. I agree with what he said, keep it that way. From now on, do we say today, or do we say from a year ago? There's been a lot of new people came in. $1,100, whoever's paid, what you paid, is paid. From a year ago, where do we start the time? A year ago, going forward, or do we start from the day going forward? So if anybody has to replace anything, you gotta pay the new fee. Okay, there's been a lot of new development in the past year, so that's all I'm saying. Do we go back a year and put them in the category of the new people, or do we leave them with the old people and start it today?
Good. Now,
Yeah, that was just,
George,
as long as he's.
that's what I want Mr. Benny to speak.
Hey, baby,
I knew he was coming with something big. My position was the same, and I wasn't adjusting. I believe a lot of people come over here, they don't have a lot of money, they just come over here because they want to get away from the spot, and the sea water, Miami, Hialeah, Miami Leagues, Kendall. And a lot of them, they don't have a lot of money, you know what I'm saying? And they have to put a lot of money out for the pockets. I believe this is my amount, $100 straight, everyone that want to put it, $100.
All right, so that being said, board, do we have some type of motion? Anybody want to bring some motion to the board?
I'm still debating on the today versus last year.
You wanna just start from today on?
Well, because the thing is,
We're not taking the question from the audience.
The thing is-
Begin.
I think it's about today.
Yeah,
I
sorry.
Yeah, see, in past meetings, y'all did it.
Yeah, we did, but we said we've already emailed everybody because we don't want the show to continue.
So before you pass a motion, you don't want to hear from the community? What
Actually,
they think?
actually, we can, but at this present moment, we choose not to because that's why we were elected.
But I was gonna bring up a really good point, because I work here for 11 years, I think there's some that would be good, but
I
that's fine,
I
I respect
appreciate
that,
your
fine.
opinion, I
Okay.
appreciate it, but that's just something that we decided to do.
Perfect.
so my question was, it'd be nice from today, because if we go back, we don't wanna hurt those people that've been doing it for a year now.
It was easy to convince.
Right, yes, we can go moving forward, starting from today, that'll be nice. But we don't wanna, those people from the past,
Yeah.
last year and going on,
You gotta
that's
leave
fine,
that in.
let's help those people.
The motion is, starting today,
So,
200.
I have a question first. He's right, everybody's right, so I need to know from you guys, so if resident from 10 years ago wants to do an improvement, do they pay 75 or do they pay the 200?
75.
75, okay.
I was trying to bundle up all this new growth.
I just
with
asking
this,
because
but
then you
I-
mentioned improvement,
I
and
agree
I
with
just
that.
wanna make sure it's.
Improvement or replace?
Yes.
So do we,
The motion is,
do we have a motion and be
200.
be specific on your motion?
starting today, 200.
Starting today, 200.
With the adapted rules,
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah.
You gotta be
yeah.
very specific.
Starting today, 200. Everyone in the past, for any redos or whatever, stays with their current fee.
Which is what?
Whatever it was, 75?
Right now it's 75.
There it is. That's the motion. How's
So
that?
we have a motion for,
I second the 75, I don't second the 200.
so we have a motion on the floor for $200 permit today, and everybody is grandfathered, or however.
Yeah, the old, starting today, 200. Everybody that's before that is the old price, and anything that has to be redone, you have to re-permit.
For
Everybody
an,
old
for
price.
an existing permit.
So we have a motion on the floor, do we have a second?
Second.
And Mr. Chair, just so that we're clear.
Sure.
Rules are easy to make,
Mm-hmm.
they're a bitch to enforce. They
Agreed.
have to be clear. So
Agreed.
what if I,
Hold on.
Fulano
I know
built a house 20 years ago? He pays $75, he's got his driveway permit. He sells the house. It's the original driveway.
Not the original owner.
Not the original.
not the
owner.
original owner.
So it attaches to the person, not the property.
Yes,
Yes, any clarification on that
yes,
as well?
so then, good call.
All right, so then when they come in here, they have to show a deed. You have to think through how you're gonna enforce it. So if they show that they were the owner prior to tomorrow, right,
Today.
you adopted it. If they show they were the owner, that same owner, they stick to the 75.
Right.
The original owners as of today.
Okay?
Correct.
Just want to be clear.
And thank you for that, because that's
It's a
good.
what, this is a one-time fee that you may not have to change for what, years to come. This is not something that you're gonna be paying monthly, yearly, this is something, not even 5, probably let's say 10, 15 years that you may have to change or improve depending on what Central County or management at that time is redoing the road. But this is not something that's gonna be a monthly thing. This is one-time fee for what, let's say the minimum 5 years.
Well,
So
there's,
yes,
I'm told there's hundreds and hundreds of crushed culverts in these driveways.
Everywhere, yeah.
I have one, I have one.
So,
Ah,
so
there.
what is your motion?
I voted on it.
So if, a quick question, just to be clear, because this is gonna be kinda complicated. So if I have my cover, right? I own my property 6 years ago, and I wanna do, a double entry, how much do I pay?
Double entry's new,
Just you.
that's new, the new rate. Repairing or adjusting
That's if it-
anything old.
That's-
Right, but
that's if it gets
I'm
approved.
upgrading,
Yeah.
but if you,
And if you're doing a double entry, you're not broke anyway, so it don't matter.
okay, well, listen to this one, if you are improving, you need to change both, the old one and put the new one.
Right.
So you pay
So-
275.
So how much you pay?
Oh, you're talking, I thought you meant add a new one. You're
That's
adding-
why I'm
You're doing it
mentioning,
in the same place.
yeah, if, I have 2 covers on my property, all right? Both of them are old, so if I wanna do a double entry, all right, a driveway,
I have one.
in and out, my existing cover is old, right? But I'm doing improvement, so both of them needs to be upgraded.
Whatever you paid before.
I'm putting a new one,
That's what happened.
and the old one, how much I pay to improve it?
Well, first of all, it's not passed, so, I mean, Mr. Alvarez could be just throwing hot air out there.
No, I just wanna make sure, because we're the one who's responsible for,
For you,
You
it'd
know,
be 200
bill.
over.
so if I have to upgrade my old one, I pay 75 for a brand new one there, and 200 for the other one, is that what we're talking about?
This is your
If
vote.
the other one's new. It's very simple. Anything new is 200, anything old, or that you're gonna redo
Oh,
old,
right, but-
is 75. So
Okay.
if one's there now,
yeah.
Right.
that's 75.
No, but you don't understand, okay, listen. Every time you need to, every time, this is what we ask for every single resident in Montura. If you got an old cover,
Mhm.
and you wanna put a shed on your property,
Mhm.
the Henry County is gonna ask you for your permit
Mhm.
before you can bring that, structure in there, right?
Mhm.
So they're gonna come back over here and they're gonna ask us for a proof, okay, that cover is not up to date. So first, they gotta bring that cover up to date, and then they'll bring that permit with the stamp on it to Henry County.
They bring it up to date, that means it's $75.
If
Okay.
they're up to date, if they're
Right,
the
okay.
original property owner.
If they're
So-
the original property owners,
Yeah.
up to date, then
Okay.
it's $75. It's an old
So if I have an old cover, and I want to do a double entry on my property,
Mhm.
the new cover,
200.
no.
How many
I'm
entries do you have
property owner, I'm a property owner for
Hold it.
6 years ago.
But
Hold it,
you're
hold on.
adding one, you're adding a new one.
Hold on, how many culverts? You have only one, you wanna add 2.
I have one,
You wanna add a double.
I wanna add another one.
He said it.
Okay, so I pay 200 for this one,
For
right?
the new one, and 75 to the other. It's a new one.
It wasn't even there for 6 years.
Alright.
We're protecting the old.
Hold on, guys, one at a time.
Okay.
So, Benny, you have the floor. Please stress your motion
Okay, that's my
and your
motion.
stipulation.
That's it. Do I need to go over it again? 200 anything new, 75 to replace anything old from today, tomorrow, today.
So we have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
With the original, yes.
damages the code.
We have a second. Do we have, all in favor?
We got
Aye.
it.
All against?
Nay.
Aye.
So it's 2?
It's 2-2, you have to vote, brother.
I said aye.
Who said I saw it's passed?
Oh, which
pass
one? That's the pass, so, for the record, 3-2, it passes, so it's now, 275 for redoing their existing, right? 200 for new, 75 to redo existing.
It's an old,
Original owner.
with the original owner, it's an existing, it's 75, anything new is 200. I think that's pretty easy.
Let me write this down.
Hey, you need to write this thing down,
When-
make it somewhere,
When
start
does,
today.
when does this start
Don't
today?
confuse it, yes.
You should've gotten a permit yesterday, man.
Create double.
No, I was just putting an example, I'm not doing a double, I just wanna make sure, because we're the one who's gonna be responsible for selling the permit.
Right, very clear.
I just wanna make
Is
sure,
there
you
anything
know.
that needs to get hashed out? 'Cause I'm pretty sure there's gonna be a lot of calls.
You know, it is a good thing, you know, for the old owners, that's fine, but there is some, you know, tricky things
I
that we
wanna
gotta
ask
be
you, I
sure.
wanna ask a question, can I ask a question, Mr. Chairman?
This is, in reference to that, to what we just talked about,
No, no, what?
it's already done.
No, it's not a reference to it.
Okay.
It's a law, it's about the law. In general,
Go ahead.
Mr. Samuel. I wanna ask you, Noel.
Nobody's ever seen my degree.
That's okay.
Never.
Hey, you pull it up.
We see it on the budget, we see it on the budget, on the budget.
You're getting players to work, right? So.
Don't worry about it.
I believe you know your thing. Do you think that's legal, or we can charge, legal only
Yes.
$75 to people who used to be able to afford, and 200 to one that I can use?
Yes. So it would be illegal if you said people who have black hair pay 75 and people who have red hair pay 100. That's illegal. But if it's based on something factual like that, sure.
One thing I don't understand, I know that's smart. We could really believe here for 6 years. Why do you have to put it on? Because it's good quote.
So, we're not,
Are we supposed to be grandfathering?
So, no.
hurry up and close this, John, so we can move on.
So you establish what you want to grandfather, what you don't want to grandfather. Because when you're charging a fee for a service and for the ability to place a culvert within Central County right of way. Remember, that culvert, you pay an engineer, staff person to go inspect it, sign off on it, and you're also having the right to put your property on top of Central County right of way.
Yeah, I thought we can operate this. So, new people are coming, most of these people,
Two people, new code.
Well, then,
Yeah, see, that was a judgment call. You're
yeah,
saying,
but you're gonna put a new,
yeah, so remember, the law doesn't prevent bad ideas or dumb ideas. They're not illegal.
and you guys
If
don't
you
know.
want to say that people who live here 20 years pay this, people who live here for 10 years pay that, people who live here less than 5 years pay another, that's dumb, you can do it. It's not illegal.
you answer my question. Thank you. So, no idea is legal.
So let's move on to number C, let's, talk
A
about
lot
this,
of people
discuss
in
it.
jail.
I have
No,
one last
no more questions.
I need
That's it.
to ask you because I
Move
need,
it on, brother.
I'm the one in the office.
After the meeting, we'll move it on.
I'm the one in the office.
You've got the attorney right there at your disposal, we're gonna move on.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Number 3, and you have Benny, he made the motion.
Hey, fine.
We're gonna move on, we're not gonna go with the circus anymore, I believe. All right, number C is discuss and vote Underwood Management. John,
So move forward. Let's
you have
roll.
the floor.
That's it, let's roll.
Discuss it.
Do it.
Discuss it to the
It
board.
was presented by Benny, he
Talk about it.
received a proposal by Underwood Management, I spoke to them, I looked into it, they in fact specialize in providing management services to water control districts.
Sure.
This board has talked from the get-go about, are we getting our fair share of taxes back to Lincoln County?
Okay,
And is the board also in terms of the maintenance tax charging a fair share?
a motion on the floor to vote on this, or we have any questions? Anybody have any questions?
That's been already done, Mr.
I know, I just wanna ask one more time.
I have one question.
You have, see, we have a question.
When can we start?
All right, so do we,
So moved.
so we have a motion on the floor, we have a motion, do we have a second?
Alright,
We have a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody against? Motion carries to, get with Underwood Management. How long is this process? How long will it take?
They expect to have something back to us in 3 months.
3 months. 3 months from now, so we
I'm
are,
gonna push him a little bit more, so April, May, June, June.
all right, let's go to D now, discuss about, selling food at the clubhouse. Anybody have any questions? I think I brought this up at the last meeting. I know, many people from years past told me that they used to sell food at the clubhouse. And this would be a great opportunity for somebody in the community to possibly sell some type of food, while they enjoy, their kids. I'm not sure how the board is thinking about that, if they want to look into that, if not, so the floor is open for any questions. Anybody have any questions? Mr. Santiago, the floor is yours.
are we talking, okay, let me be wrong. Is this for the clubhouse, the building, or is this for like, if they have a food truck and it would be in the parking lot?
That's another option we're talking about,
Because that-
possibly being in, that's a good scenario, or that could be one, or actually posting up somewhere inside the clubhouse as it used to be.
So
But that is a good,
it's clubhouse ground basically?
sure,
Okay.
correct, John? Having to do with the clubhouse or in the ground.
You wish.
So you have to have facilities,
Say again.
you have to have a kitchen.
Well, we could provide some type of kitchen, lease something out, rent something out, or as Mr. Santiago said, and we could have like a food truck invasion where we charge a slight nominal fee, if any, and, people can come and have something to, munch on and have a good time. If possible, that is.
Mr. Mata?
What for?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Joe.
I don't believe with that. But as a community, we have to charge. I know we don't want to charge. I don't want to see a charge. But if we have maybe once a month a food truck invasion that comes out to the clubhouse, or when we start our baseball games or events, they come out. I mean, like Meadow and I, we were talking last time. I mean, they come in and they have so much overhead that they don't know how much money they're going to generate. So by them coming out and us permitting them to be on our grounds, we shouldn't charge them, but they should provide their liabilities to us, okay? And make sure that their food licenses are up to date and all that kind of stuff, because it's protecting our community as well. But us charging for it, I'm not.
I didn't bring the form with me from Barron Park and Bell that does the food truck invasion. It's actually a committee that they have. Their food trucks, when they come, they tell you what trucks are coming, what type of food, and all of their certification from the state, their licensing and all of that. Because a lot of government entities like water districts, small towns, request them to come for community gatherings.
Sure.
So when the city requests all that information, they already have a big binder basically
Sure.
that they submit to you with all of it pre-approved from the state. So all we have to do is, basically go through it or approve it and move from there. So the
So-
truck invasion, organization that gets it together, they only deal with licensed people.
So what do you think about, what is the board thinking about if at the end of the day, let's just say the people are blessed and one food truck made $1,500 and they want to donate, $200 check to, fundraising for the clubhouse, for the kids, summer program or something like that. Are you guys into something like that, maybe?
Yeah.
But it has to go to the clubhouse, right? Something to
Yes.
do with recreational?
Yes,
Yeah, we
absolutely.
can, right now, they can donate to.
Because,
We accept
It's
money
like-
and then
yeah,
donation.
because it from our records, if someone donates and they say, we want it to go to this and it's a donation, we usually are required to put it whatever the donation was donated for, correct?
So if you want to create an earmark account, you can. furniture, the lights, anything.
My thing was, you know, putting a cafeteria or putting something inside the clubhouse.
Very expensive.
It's, at the end of the day, you know, we're gonna compromise somebody that wants to do a wedding, an event, and we need to look at the future. We can't just look at the moment. We need to look abroad, okay? And, there's a lot of liability to do stuff in our clubhouse regarding that.
But there was a kitchen there many years ago, and it's gone, and it's gonna be very expensive to replace it.
But getting this stuff out there to the community,
Yeah.
food trucks, events out there and all that, I think, we're in 2021, and I think we can start moving stuff like that around.
So can we get some type of motion on the floor, or do we table this, or do we leave it alone?
The motion is, somebody
We
pursue
need a
the food
motion made,
trucks.
we need a motion
Have a
made.
motion made.
All right, so we have a motion on the floor to go
Hold
ahead.
on.
Hold on,
Okay.
because this is something that was brought up. As we know, our community, we have a lot of people who do sell stuff here.
Sure.
They have some trucks that, you know, they sell some canned goods and stuff like that on the side of the road. I was told that if they get their licensing and everything through the state of Florida, they get their LLC, can they sell on our ground, like the food truck?
Not without permission, if I'm not mistaken, but that's subject matter expert.
Yeah, that's nothing to do with the LLC, that's just a company.
These are events.
Slow. It's, so they had a discussion about this a couple of years ago, so, it opens the door now. Where do you do it? And, you know, there was a board member who wanted to have a livestock flea market. You know, like any pros and cons, consider it. It doesn't have to do, somebody, so it's gonna be a private, just like if you carved out a place in the clubhouse, so we're gonna put a kitchen there. Well, the person would have to have insurance, they're gonna have a Department of Health license. Department of Health is gonna come and make sure they've got proper ventilation, electrical, you know, it's up to code, I mean, it triggers a lot of things. You can do it. Then you have to have rules, because then other people said, well, if Lano can sell chickens, I want to sell, you know, whatever, straw hats. You know, at some
So
point, you gotta manage it.
So let's start with the food trucks, see how that goes for, you know, a while.
And maybe you can go into something with that.
Yep, let's get the, yeah.
So, Chair, I'll say one thing.
Sure, man.
We many years ago did allow people to sell their goods on the side of the road, and it got to be a fiasco. I'm just saying, just something to think about. We let so-and-so and permitting, and next thing you know, you're gonna have 20 people out there doing what he's doing. No, but he's gotta get, the problem is, you're gonna have somebody to enforce it now. It gets to be a big deal, it really was. But food trucks is a great idea, so I'm the motion man, and the motion is, let's do it.
Motion to do food trucks on a monthly basis, or what do you guys think?
However you can get
Yeah,
out.
I
So
think,
that, they do it by one.
I think it's a great idea. I think it's a great idea. I don't think we have to vote on it, but at the end of the day, I mean, my opinion, we don't really have to vote on it. We could bring it into the next, we could table it, bring it into the next meeting, see how, you know, make a nice proposal on it. We should go ahead and move on with it. We should vote.
Do we have a motion on the floor?
Motion on the floor.
Yeah.
So we have a motion for a food truck to come out.
We got to sell anywhere on the clubhouse property,
No,
or we
just the
talking
parking
about
lot.
the
Just-
parking lot?
just the parking lot.
Okay.
And they have to meet all the requirements.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are we missing anything there?
No, ensure that put the bearing,
Yeah.
air card, you build, you want the trucks, because they have propane, they have a certain distance from, the building, but all that can be handled. You can designate an area where they set up.
Well, that's why I'm asking
Keep
where,
in mind too, whenever you have those trucks, people buy food, they need to, you have benches.
They provide it.
Yeah, they provide it,
Oh,
yeah,
fantastic.
they provide all that, so.
All right, so we have the motion on the floor by Supervisor Alvarez. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. All right, and we have on the table for a new grader. I'm not sure who this is.
That would be me.
Next call.
Okay, as I explained the board many times before, I think it's 5 or 6 times, our grader is just going way down. Now it's skipping another gear. So, we basically gotta go really slow everywhere we go with it, and it's getting worse and worse because they gotta push a lot of material. Like I said before, it has 4 hydraulic pistons that are really expensive. We asked Kelly Tractor if they could be repaired. They came and looked at it, they said no because it has a lot of wear and tear on it. So each hydraulic piston is about $4,000. So right there is like almost $20,000.
And the transmission's gonna be somewhere in the $50,000 range.
57 was the last time, if
Yeah,
I'm not
that's
mistaken.
a pretty good guess.
So, I'm just bringing this to the board one more time, so when it stops,
How much is a new one?
if you guys go to the end,
Just tell me, please, don't.
well, we got 2 different,
Don't kill me.
one of them is 230 and the other one is 226.
That's all I need, that's all I need.
Brand new.
230 is good, that's all I need to do.
We can't,
Kill me, bro.
have we looked for any other, government grants or, loans that can extend that to a certain period for us to, so the price is not so grand for us?
I think we already went through that. Mr. Mara asked about that a long time ago.
There are grants that you can reach out, I forget the company, but they'll do 30-year loans and 20-something year loans on this type of equipment.
Well, the big deal with the grader is it has 14,000 hours on it. It's in really bad shape.
Yeah, it's gone.
Our priority, main priority, or one of the main priorities is the road. It's kind of decent now for a down payment or trading. Once they stop, then the value is
We can't,
nothing.
have we looked into cheaper options, like one from another city or somewhere with a less price tag on it, or no?
We haven't, they only ask for brand new prices.
Okay.
It is a good idea.
But we don't
For
wanna
me-
we don't wanna buy a problem. So
For me, not on heavy equipment because you're buying somebody else
Problem.
wear and tear for a long time. But it is an option.
If we do move forward with purchasing the new grader, here's my biggest requirement. Like it was with the mowers, the operator needs to be certified to run and operate the machinery. Because the machinery has to be inspected, the whole 9 yards. If we have someone who's not certified to work it, then we're gonna have problems. So I think if we do move forward to spend this much money, which we need it, from what you're telling us, that's ridiculous. So I agree of getting it, but my thing is I wanna make sure whoever is operating it is certified to operate it. That if he gets in it or she gets in and says, hey, something's not right, this needs to be checked out, or this is wrong, this needs to be filled up, whatever it may be, we know that our operator of the machine is up to par with how the machine's supposed to work, so the life of the machine can last longer. If not, we're gonna have someone who's, I'm not saying, but mediocre, and they don't know so much with technology, because I know newer machinery, you get more technology and all that. If they mess something up or they do something wrong, then we have, what was the price tag again?
$230,000.
$230,000 down the drain. So I wanna make sure, like, we're improving Montour, we also need to make sure that whoever's operating new equipment is certified.
Well, new heavy equipment is not really, it's not mechanic anymore. It's not, it has nothing to do with mechanic no more. So whoever is operating that machine will only rely on their ears. Because anything else is all computer. It's not,
That's what I'm saying.
It's
I
all-
want them to, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I want them, if we have a worker who's willing to get trained on it and, us
oh,
as
I
a
can get somebody certified, but remember,
Yes.
we are paying, our salary is for a mediocre equipment operator. So if you certify somebody, then would you allow me to pay $25 for
personally,
that
I
operator?
will, personally, I will, because that's an investment.
I'm
That's
happy
an
with that.
investment. If
I'm
they are
happy with
certain,
that.
because here, I'm sorry I'm taking up some time. The other reason why I'm saying yes, I would be willing to pay, is because if something goes wrong with that machine, you know who I hold accountable? That worker. You're certified to work that machine. How come this happened? That's the other reason why I'm saying yes, I am, because it holds accountability. And if not, we're throwing money down the drain. I wanna make sure we're making investments. If we gotta pay them more, at least I have that comfort to tell my constituents, my voters, hey, he's certified. So if something goes wrong, we know who to hold accountable.
I'm 100% with you.
You went over your 3 minutes, Daniel. Anybody else have any questions, so we can think
Yeah,
about
yes.
this?
Who would certify, it, first of all, who's that entity that would certify grader? 'Cause I will tell you, we have old ones and we have new ones, and I can run any of them. The new graders are so easy to operate, they're 100 times easier to operate than the new one. The new one than the old one, so
There
there's
is
really not a whole lot
not even,
to it.
there is not even a mechanic
Right,
for the new equipment anymore.
no,
They
I
all come
understand.
over here and they connect the computer to the
laptop, I
equipment and
understand.
that's it.
That's why I'm asking.
That's all it is.
Anybody
So
else?
the operator,
Yeah, they almost run themselves.
the operator really
Yeah,
has nothing to do with the mechanic part.
so why are you gonna pay more to an operator? You're gonna pay an operator more that's doing less, actually.
Okay,
Hold on, Dan.
but,
Hold on, guys, please. You guys are talking without, you've had your opportunity, brother. Anybody else?
That's all I wanna do.
I agree with, Mr. Brennan.
I just asked,
Mr.
that's
Gonzalez, you have any questions?
As long as they know how to drive the equipment.
Can you find better financing than this?
We can try, but I have to rely on Mr. Boyd. Yeah, we can work on it.
I mean, this is like buying and purchasing a car.
And there may be some grant kind of things out there, and you gotta talk to somebody that knows the grant, the grant environment.
Well, no, not only grant, a lot of people do financing, Mr. Boyd, beyond 5 years. This, I'm looking at 5-year payments, 5 annual payments.
Or we could buy it out for $1 once we're done. It's gonna cost us only $1, okay? At the end of the week, it's ours, and we only pay $1.
The problem with paying something out over 20 or 30 years is it's going, you're gonna get underwater quick.
Yeah, you can't finance a grader for 30 years.
It's not gonna be worth as much as you owe on it.
10 to 15,
But it ain't worth 2 cents right now.
And I think that one of the contracts I saw was basically 2%.
Yes.
They were charging.
Yes.
I talked to some local banks and stuff, and even on a tax-free basis, they can't do it for 2%.
The only,
There's not any special.
the only concern that I really have is, we have purchased a lot of equipment. We've purchased a lot of good equipment, and I'm not against purchasing good equipment, but sooner or later, it's, there's no return on these investments. This is, I know we're a growing community, but, this stuff is not cheap. This stuff is not cheap at all.
I don't think we have a choice. We gotta have a grader.
All right, so does, any more questions? If not, we'll put it to a vote. No
Can I
more
make-
questions?
can I make a comment, follow up?
Sure, please. Quick thing.
The reason why I think we have to, pay them is because where does the accountability come in? If we put someone in a machine that costs $200K, and I'm not saying that they don't, but I'm saying they go in there, and let's say it starts beeping, like how you said, beep, 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 that it's just a simple boop, boop. If they don't know that simple boop, boop, and they say, oh, well, I'm just gonna do this to stop it, or let's say you know what I'm trying to say.
I understand.
In that perspective, they can dramatically mess that machine up for that little 1 second button. So that's why I'm saying, when it comes to investing, I think we should. Yeah, they may do less work, but at least we, as a board, have that comfort to tell our constituents, that person behind there is certified. So if something comes up or something happens, we know who to hold accountable. If not, then if they say, as the employee says, oh, well, I didn't know, then you see where I'm coming with that?
Yeah,
That's the
yeah,
only
But
reason why.
do you wanna certify a
Real quick.
mechanic or you wanna certify an
The
operator?
The
operator.
operator.
That's what I'm
The
telling you.
operator, but the operator is not a mechanic.
See what I said, Daniel? You're gonna start a whole nother, that's
I
enough.
just,
But please, guys, enough, because we're gonna go around in circles like we've done last meeting. I wanna do this no
You
more.
buy something for $250,000 at John Deere, don't they do some training?
They do.
yes, that's what
Yes.
you need. You don't need, that's what I'm saying.
They'll give you
You're
training,
gonna give a guy
they'll
$6
give you warranty.
more an hour to do what? To listen to a
Hold on,
light?
hold on.
When the $6 an hour less man can do it too? Anybody can do it, that's all I'm saying.
So we either put this to close, you have to, please.
So, as government, do we have, can we have somebody to bid for us? I mean, for example, we need a machine. We're going out there shopping to them. There's plenty of companies out there that are willing to sell us the machine and compete at a cheaper price for the same machine. Are we getting bids on it as we go out there and ask for bids? Well, we're just gonna go shopping like we shop for a car, hey, here it is.
when we buy in a piece of equipment, we ask for different estimates. 2, 3,
You got to put it out there.
We can't, quick question, we can't buy anything out of state, like in another state cheaper?
we can buy it anywhere we want. It's not,
Cause they're gonna deliver that, I know it'll be part of that price tag that they'll deliver at 200 something K, and I know certain things are cheaper in other states, cause it'll
but
probably
then-
be a
but then
2019.
the warranty come into play.
Alright.
So,
Okay.
you know, if you buy a John Deere, the John Deere is about an hour away, or heavy tractor.
So do
If
we,
you buy it out of state, then
thank you guys, so enough with the discussion, we've got to beat this to death. So do we want to move forward with purchasing a new grader? Do we want to table this for more questions? Possibly more, looking at different prices? What's the board want to do? Do we have a motion on the board or floor, or what do we want to do?
I say we give him the go-ahead, the shop for the best, you know, get 5 or 6 estimates from 5 or 6 different places, and then go with the cheapest Caterpillar, not John Deere.
So the
as long as it's a stick, I'm fine.
Yeah, but hey, listen.
So the board wants to, delay this so he can get better quotes, more quotes?
Well, not delay it.
I said,
But give him the go-ahead. My motion is, give him the go-ahead to shop it and go, because
Because always have to go.
you're gonna wait,
Shut
then,
up.
no, shop it and get it, because 30 days from now, you could have a greater part. If the transmission's starting to go out, it's not gonna get better, it's gonna continue. And like you said, you're not gonna be able to give it away. Now you can trade it in, get this done now, not talk about it again 30 days from now, to maybe talk about it again for 30 days. We need to do this now.
I agree.
So can you look out throughout the whole state of Florida, call, whoever makes graders?
I can do whatever you guys want me to do
So
to
do-
make it happen.
So
It's
do
not-
that and present to us, before the next meeting, a few weeks before the next meeting, with all the quotes from all the different things with the graders, so we can move on. Thank you.
Do we need a motion to get him going?
No, sir, he's got, there's.
So he can buy a $200,000
No,
grader?
no,
without us
no,
approving
he's
it?
not buying anything, he's getting numbers.
So we're back to 30 days from now.
Yes, sir.
I move that we move today. Give him the authority to do it now.
So
Buy it.
so we have,
He's quite capable.
I second.
there's a motion on the floor.
Second.
Can't give him over $1 million to spend. Can't. Also, he has to bring something to you, and then he can, and you decide. This is not kind of money, his spending limit is $25,000.
No, he's gonna bring it to us, and we
That's
vote.
different. You can't tell him.
No, he's gonna buy it. He's gonna
So
bring it
thirty-
to us,
so
and we
30
vote on it.
So 30 days, basically,
He's gonna bring back one or more
You wanna let you choose? You wanna let you choose? I will vote for it.
That's what I'm saying, Joe. You can tell him right now, cheapest one, buy it. I mean, we don't have to buy it.
Don't buy it,
We,
please.
if we approve it, he can.
We approve. Bring it
If
to
we
us.
say you can buy it, and whenever you find it, get it, we just approved it.
Just bring it to us.
What do y'all wanna do? I mean, he's gonna bring you a cat, the cheapest cat, and what are we gonna do? Look at it, what? Just talk, you know, what's the point?
He's gonna choose one, bring it to
You can't
us.
delegate, because what you're doing is delegating the spending authority. $250,000. Then believe me, do I believe you can find me the best deal? Yes, it has nothing to do with the budget. So you can't delegate your spending authority.
table, so next meeting, he has to bring us quotes and,
And you
And
can
we
say,
have to say this one.
yeah, okay.
you
All
can
right,
recommend
I got
it,
That.
and you can say, I agree with this recommendation.
Okay, I understand what you're saying now. I didn't know. All right.
So try to get us at least
Yeah.
about 5 or 6 quotes, with our quotes from different type of manufacturers. And then hopefully we'll either say yay or nay, or we'll go from there. So that's it with old new business. Let's go for manager's report. We have the floor.
That road rebuilding is going faster now. We're using the 2 20-ton trucks. So we're going a lot faster. We finished Montura and we already on almost on Ranja. I'm sorry, on Linet, on Hunting Club. Our boom mover is on Appaloosa right now. And then we're just gonna keep going with it until we finish. The trash in Montura has been increasing a little bit to the point where it's a lot now. So I guess people got mad because you guys decided to close the dumper. So there's a lot of tractor tires everywhere and all around.
No, keep going, we gotta stop, guys.
Okay,
We got the floor, let's go.
the clubhouse, we received our playground, they're installing the playground, they haven't finished yet. They're supposed to finish either tomorrow or on the next day. The big pool, we went back and forth with Henry County, planning and zoning about the permit. The contractor finally got the number, and they just finally yesterday give him the procedures or whatever they give him because they didn't know, they never applied a permit for repair a pool. So this is the first time, so they gotta come up with a whole procedures and all that stuff. But anyway, he's gonna start on next week again. We still got the problem, one more time, that we're talking about the pool, with the pool room. Needs to be okay. The last time we opened the pool, the inspector did the same thing that he did with the pool deck. He literally says, I've been, let it go, but this pool room is terrible, it needs to be fixed. So, just so you guys know, when we finish the pool, if we don't pass inspection, the pool room needs to be done. And Bennett already been there, with me 2 times and all that. The soccer tournament was great. The roof permit also is being pulled by Clyde Johnson. We're getting ready for the drive-through, for the Easter drive-through. I just got the plan for the baseball field, so we're gonna redo at the clubhouse. I just want to remind you guys back in the years when that baseball field needed to be maintained, with the proper machine, the board never agreed with it. We're doing a brand new baseball field. So if you guys are not going to go ahead and buy the proper equipment to maintain the field, it doesn't make any sense for me to go ahead and do a brand new baseball field.
How much? Hold on, man.
So, I'm going to bring the price together with the
Okay.
appraisal. I have a couple things for you guys. Well, actually, Rolly already went to the cover part. In the front, this is just numbers, so you guys, Benny was asking me to, see where we're bleeding, like he called it. So I didn't have that much time, Benny. I'm sorry, we've been into a lot of stuff with the trucks and the roads and this and that. The reservoir key, the reservoir security that we agreed a year back. Our normal amount of keys that we sell during the year is roughly 143 to 150. So the key price is $150 per key, and we have never gone over 150 on the last 5 years. So this year is 149, and it's been there for a few weeks now. So every year we're collecting $20,000 to $22,000 on the key. But a year of security costs almost $50,000. So we got to answer Benny's question about how we're bleeding. Well, we're losing about $30,000 with the security because the key doesn't really reach to pay for the security for the entire year. that's $30,000 there. So as we start selling the dirt, we have sold $10,570. And that's about it. If you guys have any questions.
Alright, we have the floor.
Oh, and we do have I'm sorry, Daniel. We do have a basketball tournament on April 17th.
Thank you.
I got it.
Floor is yours.
First question, what is the pool room? Is that where we have our pool club?
The pool room is where everything that has to do with the filters, chlorine, everything for the pool is a pool room. It's right next to the pool. Behind the bar room on the pool.
Oh, okay. And then to piggyback off, well, I talked to Waste Connections, and we have to, as a board, we have to make a public schedule, and to present it to our district of a certain day that they want to come pick up. I did a personal survey with a few community members. They put bulk out, they called, they put a work order in, and Waste Connections didn't come. I personally called and I said, this is part of their taxes. This is something that's already prepaid for. What is the reason that you guys are not coming to pick it up? And it made great sense of what they said. They said that if we get a work order today, we go out to Montour, we pick it up, and we leave, and that was the only work order we got for that day. Then we get another one, they're wasting a lot of money in gas and fuel. And they said even though it's in their taxes, that they still have to apply and do it, they said that it's very very time consuming. So they rather wait and then pick it up all at one day. They said, do we have a calendar or a scheduled day for the community to be notified? I told her I would get with the manager or the assistant manager to make, like how it is in all these other cities. The first Monday of the month, every month, the first Monday is bulk pickup. They will pick up, they'll come and pick it up, but it has to be only the first Monday of the month. I said that's something we can implement once a month, but Waste Connection said because it comes out of taxes, it has to be brought by the board and it has to be presented to them.
Go ahead.
So that was one thing about the trash that a lot of people got upset regarding that, and the reason why is because miscommunication. So that's to clean that up. So we have to discuss
Yeah,
that
we
later.
did the same thing. We called management, and they said that there's no schedule or anything like that, and they're not gonna come back and forth every day for one person or another person.
What was the other thing I wrote down here? The baseball field. I remember last meeting we discussed, yeah, that is something that needs to be done, and I just wanted to know what, by the top of your head, what is the machinery you need that we don't have for the baseball field?
No. To make the baseball field, we got everything
Okay,
we need. My question is to maintain the baseball field.
okay. We don't have certain things, like certain equipment?
We don't have a three-wheeler tractor.
Okay.
I mean, to make it is easy. It's not a problem. It's to maintain it.
And then on the dirt, what is the 30%?
30% is the wear and tear of the truck.
in Montura, besides Facebook, have no access to internet because of the situation that we're having here.
But if you got access to Facebook, you got access to internet.
Those that do not, correct, those that do not have access to Facebook or internet, how are we gonna get into it? Can
We put
Go
the
ahead.
flyers, we did put the I'm sorry, Weber, we did put the flyers on the post office. I already put it three times, somebody
Yeah.
ripped it off. I'm not gonna put them no more. And the other thing that I was talking with Becky, I think it was that we can put it on our official board on the school side.
That's great, as long as we get the message out there, so later on, nobody will say, oh, no, I didn't know anything about it.
Right.
We can do as much as possible, thank you.
All right? You have the floor?
Yeah, one thing I wanna mention, you have called my attention for, waste management of the trucks, okay? The trucks that pick up the garbage here into, the front. I see those employees in the back of the trucks, okay?
I'm sorry, you see what?
I see those employees in the back of the trucks, and the trucks are going pretty fast. And those guys are hanging out there without no safety attached to them or anything.
Nah, that's not my employees.
No, I'm not saying your place.
Oh.
I'm talking about waste management.
Oh, you're talking the garbage truck?
Money, yes, sir.
Oh.
The garbage, no, they have something to do with it. That's in the rules. That's in the rules. We have roads, canals, and recreation. So those are our roads, okay? And I believe those are very unsafe, you know? And they go speeding up on the roads, and the person, employee in the back, no attachment, no nothing. You know, they can fall anytime, and they can get hurt very bad.
Yeah, understood. Do we have a question for the district manager? This is the district manager's question.
This is my question.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can we do something about it, Mr. Minnie? Those
I
roads-
can, that's Henry County, that's nothing I can do.
The road doesn't belong to all the responsibility, whatever happened in the roads,
Right, but they have the right to come
those
and
speeding
pick
up out there with
how
the guy
they,
hanging out,
right, so how they do it, that's their responsibility, that's their liability.
somebody
that's-
fell down the roads, that's all our responsibility. They hurt?
No. I mean, I don't believe so, but we have an attorney, we can
That's
ask him.
not, if that happens, it's a bad thing on our property, in the back, we could be liable. But we don't have the ability to police it is the question. I mean, so to stop that, you have to have people in cars watching for this, and then, like, that's what the police, so what we need to do is let the sheriff's office know that we have a problem here, that people.
We can send-
Yeah, you could tell.
We
the
can
police
send
to keep an eye.
an email to the sheriff's
It's-
office,
it's they
and
keep
whatever,
an eye.
and,
Yeah, I guarantee you this officer saw some kids, you know, in the back of a pickup truck, standing up or doing certain things, he's gonna pull them over.
I'm talking about the garbage, waste management trucks. You have employees in the back of the trucks,
Okay.
and they,
Yeah, so then, it wouldn't be the police, it'd be Hendry County, because Waste Management has a contract with Hendry County. I mean, I could tell him, hey, don't do that, and he'd be like, you know, we don't have control over him. If they're doing something unsafe, we need to let the county know that this contractor is acting irresponsibly. Whenever you see something like that, take pictures. Yes, sir, please.
Garbage pits are actually covered by Florida state statute, and they are governed by their companies, and they sign waivers to ride in the back of the trucks, but they're actually allowed by Florida state statute to ride in the back of the trucks. They're the only ones. They're allowed to ride loose with no seatbelts and everything like that.
I was gonna say that until he interrupted me.
Well, sorry, sir, we're not taking questions at this time, sorry.
When can we speak?
In the beginning, usually in the
But
beginning.
how can we address the matters that y'all talking about now if we don't know what's going on?
In the beginning, sir, when you bring them up in the beginning.
So there's
We're not gonna
no
hold
point,
back.
there's no point for us to waste our time here anymore?
No problem.
Okay,
You have any?
sorry about
any
the
more
other 10
questions?
people that wasted your time.
Sir.
Y'all have a good one.
Mine was what he said, and I know that they're governed that way, so, yeah, what he just said.
Do you have any questions?
Oh, no, I was gonna.
Mr. Manager?
No.
All have one question for you,
Yes.
maybe two. The swales, where are we at with the swales cleaning, or when do we plan on addressing that?
Well, we did clean our swells. If you're talking about rebuilding the swells,
I'm actually talking about putting the line on them from the road to the canals, from the roads to the
right,
canals.
so, the plan is really simple. We start from A, we finish on B, each row on both sides. The thing is, 3 meetings ago, when you guys asked me the same question, my question back was, what are we gonna do with the old covers? Are we paying for it or we're not? Are we putting it out of our pocket or we're not? That's a big question because 80% of our covers are old and in bad condition.
So get with, the engineer, get with John Romero as well, and get back to the board, because we need to start this project.
Well, it's easy. You guys need to decide if we are giving away the covers to the
Hold on.
back covers. Because once you take the cover out, you need to put a new one. Are we paying for that? Are we giving it away in the dirt, or they need to do it? Because remember, Fumero says, when we talk about it, Fumero says we can send a letter to everybody that has an old cover for them to change it, or bad condition cover, or stuff like that, whatever. If it's not on the elevation, which is not gonna be,
Sure.
it needs to be fixed. So it's either that, or we have to
It's a,
stock up
Hold on,
all the material.
hold on, it's not open for discussion. John, can you, because we're gonna keep this meeting moving. John, can you get with Herminio and get with the engineer and present something to the board, because we need to have something done, because, this is 3 years that I've been on the board and we haven't made any headway. And we have people coming in by the boatload, we're not starting.
Is there something we want?
No, no, sir, not this time. So if you please could get that information to us, because we want to get this started,
Okay?
all right? We'll move on, sorry. I'll keep moving on.
I'll keep them on.
Next one is the engineer's report,
It's not present, Mr. Mayor.
all right? Treasurer's report,
We have total disbursements this month, this month, $211,777. Out of our total tax assessment of $1,752,000, we've collected down to where there's $700,586 left. Next page shows our current collections for the month, $154,552. The current year tax collection comparison to the prior year is we're about $66,000 over on the current year collections. And on the delinquent tax collections, we're about 75 under, so we're pretty close to about the same when we combine the two. As far as the budget, in the actual, we're 5 months
Florida leases that we voted on that. We voted on the waiver.
90 days we'll have the.
Any questions for the treasurer?
Sir, what is Tuscan Company PA?
That's our audit.
We're paying, what, $5,000 every month?
And their total, they did a lot of work in like December, January, it's not all year long. I think their audit is $13,500 total.
So we divided it,
Well, it's not done equally throughout the year. We got to set 23 year in. They've already been here and done all the field work. They have to get a good sized bill in January. And finish it up before the June 30 deadline. So that's like I was talking about out there at the farm department. Some things just pay all at one time. It's not a monthly bill at all. It's annual audit.
so this $13,500, we broke it down to basically 2 or 3 payments.
No, that's because that's, pay them as they do the work. They do a big chunk of work at one time. We're there involved in couple days. So it's not something that goes on throughout the
So
year.
that's the same thing we're doing with Clyde Johnson, we're just paying $27,287,
No, that's just half of that rate.
half of the project, and they take that money up front. Thank you. Any questions for me?
Yes.
Go ahead.
John Boy, the $10,570 for dirt, I don't see it on your report, that we sell here from Central County.
I'm not sure where it's broken down to. Is that dirt
I think they're putting that, I think Mr. Boyd is putting that on where it says miscellaneous income.
Is that year to date, or that's monthly?
It should, the year to date is, miscellaneous is $29,203. So there's dirt in there, and there's, the keys are separated, so there's payments. Yeah, 35.
That's the one.
Handwritten number at the bottom, 25. Anyway, the miscellaneous income is 20,000 year to date.
Can you verify that form?
Yeah, I'll check and see. What did we get? This money spread out or?
That goes into your office every week or every 2 weeks.
I'm certain to come back.
Because the reason why I'm asking is because $10,570 is, it doesn't have a date, so I don't know when you received it, and then I wanna know where is it being put on here, because that's a lot of money. That's my only reason why I'm asking, is because I wanna see it go from one to the next and be as clear and transparent as your report is, and I wanna know where the last penny's going. That's the only reason why I'm asking, is because we all know, we had a big incident years ago. I just don't want to, not saying management's like that, I just don't wanna have that repeated cycle. As a board member, I wanna cover myself as including the rest of the board, so when it comes to certain things like that, I just wanna be very transparent to my
Well,
community.
that's just a total that we put together.
No, I get that, but
Yeah, but if you want, you can come to our office, we got every single receipt. We can make copies out of it, so you can have the
Guys,
dates.
as I said, he's the treasurer, I just wanna make sure we're being very transparent across the board. Has nothing to do with management, as I stated, I just wanna make sure from one to the next, it's very transparent, that's it.
Yeah, if you could itemize stuff a little bit better, I would say it, because some of this stuff is too.
We separated out the reservoir fees and
Sure.
that.
Thank you.
Separate this out.
I would separate it as a line item.
If you could
Yes.
separate it as a line item, would be excellent. I think that would be an excellent idea. Good question, Danny. Anything else? All right, no more questions for the district attorney, district treasurer. Mr. Romero, you got the floor?
Yeah, just kind of went over my stuff, farmers review, the driveway permit, and just in my memo to you, the two big things to remind you about is your quarterly disclosure. So you have your Form 2 and your Form 9, so as an elected official, I have to, I elected, I have to follow this as well, so please, they're pretty simple to do. Don't put any kind of detail, you don't put account numbers, anything like that. But, I always try to remind you of this, I attach the forms to my memo. So you have your client and your gift disclosure form, and of course, if you have questions, give me a call. Walk you through it.
Sure, thank you. Any questions for the district attorney? Daniel? Mr. Gonzalez? Mr. Santana? Any questions for the attorney? Jonathan? All right.
I should say too, there's a state law that, for the, I'm gonna look in that state law.
You want to give a clubhouse report, or?
It's all together.
So can you just take that out and put it with yours? Just go ahead and remove that, Becky, please. All right, so we're gonna go on supervisor report. I just have something to bring toward the board. If you wanna do it, great. If not, that's fine as well. I've been approached by a company that wants to free repave the basketball courts. And if that company, the company said he can do it for free, just wants to know what they need to do, if we want them to do it. To do it, next 2 or 3 months. It'll be on a day's notice. It'll be really, really fast. But, we just would like to know, if he does do it, what do they have to meet, if they have to meet anything with licenses, insurance, and all those kinds of things. So I'm not sure if the board is cool on something like that. If they are, great. If not, we'll keep it moving.
Or even better, get on it.
Yeah, the only thing I'm gonna say about that is, I wanna make sure that, they have all the certifications to do that, that what they're doing to our beautiful community is not something that we're gonna have to pay for later on, it's more of an investment. So if they're gonna be willing to do a kind deed, let's do the kind deed the right way. Let's make sure that it's gonna be there for years to come, that's it.
So if the board's okay with it, Mr. Mayor, do you see anything?
Not at all, just like anytime anybody, even for free, does work, you wanna make sure that they have liability coverage, or if something happens to the workers, it happens.
So get that to the staff, so the staff can get it out to this company.
And if they're a company, they already have,
Yeah.
do this all the time.
And then also, I've been approached by another company, they want to donate, 1, 2, 3 bagging machines. 2 for boys and 1 for fast pitch for girls. But they said they don't mind doing it. The only thing is it gonna be taken care of? And is it gonna have power to, because it takes power to run these batting cages, is it gonna be taken care of, or if they're just donating stuff or not?
Right, so I've been in baseball for years.
It's
So
about
if-
$5,000 or $6,000.
If that is, I know exactly how much. So if that is a requirement, we gotta think about putting a big roof on top of the 3 batting cages. Electricity is not a problem, we got electricity way back on that field. But a roof is a must. If it's, a batting cage is made out of the net, there is a composite.
Yes, sir.
Right, so you got different nets.
Yes, sir.
If it's a professional net, even if it's under water and sun every day, it won't last long.
Understood.
So it doesn't matter which net it is, I still believe that we need to put a roof on top of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So there's, hold on, so there's again, there's a proposal for a company that's willing to donate about $5,000 or $6,000 a piece. If we want to have it, that's great. If not, we can pass
If
it
you-
again. The board
If you
is,
gave me the sizes of it, 16 by 60 by
yeah,
40.
I don't know the size.
Okay, well,
It would have to be at least, what, 45 feet, 60 feet from the pitcher's
Well,
down to the plate, give or
It
take?
doesn't matter, it's a donation, but the smaller one is, let's say 16 by 30 by 14, that's a smaller batting cage. But that's not, I don't think that's gonna be the case, because that's not gonna last too long. But anyway, if you can give me, or the phone number, or the sizes of it, get some estimate for a metal roof or some type of structure that we can
Yeah, that-
cover.
So is the board inclined to do something like that, or they wanna pass on that? Go ahead, Dave. Go
If
ahead.
we are gonna be redoing the baseball field, which I think we all agreed on, this is an investment and this is a very great big donation. I think that if we need to make another structure, whatever it is to maintain this equipment very nice for years to come, I agree that we do something like that, and move forward with, bettering and moving the community forward in that field.
There is a special roof, there is made actually for barricades,
I think
with bars, with clips and all that stuff that you can, it is expensive though, it's not cheap, but
Baseball field, is there a fence in the outfield?
yes, yes, yes.
There's not a fence around it.
Well, we don't need it, there's a fence around
There's
the
a fence
club.
around the clubhouse, there's not a fence in the outfield.
The only reason I asked, I know you're talking about just the curb.
The pool room is the fence.
No, no,
That's a fence.
We used to do this, local business by a banner, hang it out there. Thank you, so-and-so, for your donation. Sure.
Yeah, of course, once they donate, us as the board, we need to thank them for their donation. And recognize them, publicly as well, because that stuff's not cheap. And especially coming and bringing such nice equipment for our community, that does need to be appreciated. As well as we are redoing the baseball field, if we need to make a structure, get a certain thing for that, then we need to do so, maintain it, keep it nice. If we have to do that and spend that money, it's an investment, it's not something that, 5, 30 years down the road, we're gonna be like, oh, well, we don't need, no, it's something we're building in our community for time to come.
The floor is yours.
I'm gonna go ahead and piggyback on what everybody said, you guys are all absolutely right, but we need to cover our assets. Yes, they are assets. Our assets. Hey, that's good, that's clear. So, yes, we're gonna take something for free, okay? But free comes with a cost,
It does.
okay?
It does.
And that cost, we need to see how much that structure is gonna cost us, how much is that gonna, take out of the community's future pockets, and at the end of the day, we have to look at the big picture. Yes, we want it to go ahead and last for a very long time, but we need to look
Well,
very
that's why I was
careful
asking.
at our spending budgets, because we're looking to buy a greater not for $280-something thousand, or whatever. But again, we have to be detailed. Again, yes, we want it for the community, we want to continue beautifying Montura, but at the end of the day, we cover our assets, but at the same time, everything comes with a cost. We have to look at it like a finance.
Well, that's why I was asking for the sizes, so we can, get a price on a roof or,
Mr. Alvarez, you got the floor.
Yeah, I just wanna, what he said, is where I was going. Just like the facility that the county's gonna give us $2.5 million for it.
Agreed.
It's a gift, why would you take it? Well, hell, you can't afford the upkeep on it.
Right.
So why would you take it?
Agreed.
Here we are again.
That's why I brought it forward.
Yeah, we get a price for the roofs. If it's $20,000, do we have $20,000? So I guess we'll wait and see.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's not always free.
Any questions, Mr.?
Oh, I agree, that's good.
So if you could, I'll link you up with the people and see what you can do and report back to us.
all
If
right.
we can take advantage of it, great. If we can't, so.
Yeah, that would be a shame
Mr.
not to be able to.
Sure, Mr. Santiago, you have the floor.
Yes, I spoke with a couple water districts, as board members to, other board members.
Sure.
And from my knowledge, we are not part of the FSAD, Florida Association of Special, Districts. It's a association that, they give elected officials classes, they give the management classes, and they also have a criteria. They have bylaws and policies that each district, has and what they look for annually. So if we were to be a part of that, we can learn something as elected officials as well as management, how to work with management as well as how to work with elected officials, and how to get our mission across in our district, because they break it down to all different kind of special districts. Not including, it gives us as elected officials a standard of what the state is looking for. They get the up-to-date on if our bosses, the governor's office, and the state changes anything or tweaks anything. When we go to their conferences, because they have semi-conferences every 3 months, I think it is, if we go to their conferences, they usually update us. They say, hey, well, there's a new thing that just came out about water control, and did you know that you can get a grant for this? Or did you know you can get assistance for that? They also have their own grants that they do apply to certain water districts or special districts, and I think this is something that we should look into, or something we should adapt, because we are one of the only in the state of Florida that has not taken that opportunity to grow with this association, because there's a lot of stuff that we can learn from our neighboring special districts that I think as a water district we should do. The other bulletin point is Facebook Live, Facebook page. We need to have more of a 2021 approach. Our county, they're on Facebook, it's strictly informational. You can comment, you can reply, but it's strictly informational. Their Facebook page, when they have a meeting, it's live on their page. Moving forward with that, I am the youngest board member on here.
No.
My generation is very social media savvy. And when we have job postings, we only put it in the newspaper, at the clubhouse, in the mailbox. I'm gonna be honest with you. The only reason I know is because I work at the mail facility. If not, I don't read the newspaper on a day-to-day basis. I don't do any of that. What do? I have me, my team, we're on social media. That's how we get our information out.
Sure.
And I think if we're gonna grow our community to develop, as well as that, we need to come up with a 20th century approach. If we need to make our own Facebook page, strictly Central County informational, we need to do so. Other special districts, other cities, even the county does it, and it's strictly informational. It has nothing to do with if we're doing this, it's strictly whatever Central County is doing, and that's it. We need to come up with a better approach on 20th century knowledge. The other thing is, I've also seen a couple other special districts. I know we're growing, we may not have it in our budget, but it's something I wanted to bring up. Other special water districts, they have a bigger facility to combat for their employees. What management has done with our facility and what we have is great, but as we grow, we also need to think about that as elected officials, as well as our community. You know, because some of them do live here, and I think, you know, they need somewhere, like if they want to bring a change of clothes, or if they want to do something for the ones, because I know there's a few, or one or two that don't live here, something for them to have here, like a break room, or to take a shower. Other special districts offer that, and I think it's something we should look into doing, not now, but this should still be brought up, and we should look into that as well.
Oh, they don't have a shovel, but they do have a playground.
But they have a hose outside, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Go ahead.
Another thing is, with the 2021 approach, our assistant manager does a great job at what she does, but I also think if we do move forward with this 2021 approach, the biggest complaints that a lot of the community does have is communication with public relations, from Central County to them. If we can't, you know, we can't forget that these are the people who put us here, so we do have to hear their voice, we do have to listen to them. And if we don't have that relationship with them, it's always gonna be every election, a new board, and nothing's ever gonna get done. So, but if we can work with them, hear their voices, I think that will help. But with the 2021 approach, it is a lot of, you know, technology, a lot of 20th century thing, and I think to, you know, make a new position, to get her an assistant for the office to help her with the overload, the calls, or whatever it may be, to help assess in the office, because the many times I have came, our manager is out there on the field. He's double checking the work, he's doing a lot of stuff, so I think she needs more of an assistant that's gonna help her answer the phone calls, keep a phone call log, update the page with information, get people information, because she is HR, she's the assistant manager, she deals with more than that, and sometimes she's not gonna, you know, I'm not gonna say she doesn't, but if she can't answer the phone, she can't answer the phone. And then us as elected officials, we get it, oh, they're not doing anything, they're not answering our calls. But if she has an assistant to say, yes ma'am, I wrote it down, I'll make sure we get with you, and get with her, you know, get her that information. I think that's something we need to look into, is making another position here to help them out. Number 5.
Daniel,
Oh, hold on,
do you got all this to be vote on?
hold on.
Yeah,
So you need to stop so they can vote.
No, we're not voting, this is just a discussion.
yeah, this is just a discussion.
There's no vote.
Number five, number 5,
Vote on it now.
no, 'cause I'm trying to hurry up for the time. Number 5 I went to as I said, I went to Lee Special Water District.
Sure.
And they have their old sign, like we do, Montoro Ranch Estate. And in their one new, on the main highway, they have a brand new sign.
Which one is this?
Lehigh,
Oh,
they have a new sign.
that's not a
I-
water control district.
But it's still a special
So
district.
Municipal services
Yes,
district.
but it's a special district. And I think as us being a special district, and as we do grow to the 20th century, I think we need to do something, you know, if it's, you know, with DOT or, you know, local company to put a sign on our property, a nice sign saying, hey, welcome to Montoro. You know, something to welcome people here. Because as we do grow, we need to be more approachable to them. We want them to know who's here, what district they're going into, and, you know, just give them a few information about that. Because if you drive into Lehigh Acres Special District, you will see their big, massive signs that they just previously got, and they're really nice. We don't need to get something that big or that expensive, you know, something decent that we can afford that will help welcome people here to Montoro. That's just something I think we should do.
Can I ask you,
Hold on one second, let me finish, over. Please, you have the floor, go ahead,
And then the other thing is too, number 6, I think us as a board, this is something that I think we need to do from a professional standpoint. When we go to the courthouse, or we go to other special elected official places, they have nice formal pictures put up in the office, so when you walk in, you say, oh, that's who that is. That's who that is. And the reason why I'm bringing that is, we need to bring more of a professional approach. As you can see, our conference room has got redone. We look more up to par, we look more up to date compared to a couple years ago. We look back in 18 something. I think we, as a board, need to take, and with our attorney, our manager, assistant manager, and our engineers, and take professional pictures, post them at the clubhouse, the office, you know, and a wall that gives people information of who's my elected official here, who's in charge of the day-to-day, stuff like that. Same thing like on our website. We all have pictures, but they're all different. We need to all take professional pictures that give the same message. Because I heard from someone I know at the state's office, when she looked up our website, she said that's a big no-no. If I'm someone looking to move to Montoro, that looks unprofessional. You know, you all have to have the same, you know, kind of thing. And I think that's something we need to do, is bring a more professional approach to Central County so that when we do go to the big people, or the county, or to the state, they look at us and say, well, they're not to play with no more. They got their stuff together, they know what they're talking about. We don't look a mess, we look professional. And then, number 7 is to, get with Waste Management to, make a schedule for them to discuss what day they should pick up, bulk pickup.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Santana, you have the floor.
Are you sure that's number 7?
On your project board.
I don't know, I went through it.
You missed this one. Go ahead.
I didn't know that it looked like a mask. It looked like a mask. Thank you for saying that. It looked like a mask. Thank you. I appreciate it. I can tell when I look at the bird. I look like a mask. Thank you for reminding me. I was going to ask you, Daniel, those signs that you're talking about, we're talking about signs at the entrance of the flag hall, that there is a little sign, in the entrance of the flag hall, little sign, in this side of US 27.
Yes and no. When you're on Flagler and you turn down that street, there is a sign that the DOT puts and the county maintains. I don't know if we maintain it. It tells you when you're entering. I don't know if you're on the highway and you see it says entering Hendry County, entering Lee County.
Sure.
Those are DOT signs. They legally have to be there.
Sure.
When you turn off of Flagler and you turn in, it says Montoro Estate, if I'm not mistaken. I want to replace that sign, like other special districts, other towns, cities, and counties do. That a nice formal sign that says "Welcome to Montoro Estate." It's more approaching and more welcoming than just seeing that little green sign. Because sometimes you'll drive right by and some people confuse Flagler from Montoro and they think, oh, how come they can do this, but we can't? You understand? So I just want to make that very.
So I want you to give me a report. I want you to give me a report. What you report. Those guys are.
I just want to ask
off right there on the corner, on the other side, and you see it when you turn.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
You got anything else to bring?
Yes, yes. I brought up something the last time. I was, about the second week, I want to bring it up again. Talking about ATVs, okay? Four-wheelers, motorcycles. I've been talking to a lot of residents of the Ranch State, and there's a lot of them that have motorcycles. Okay? And they enjoy riding the motorcycles on their roads, whatever places they do it, okay? And supervisor, elected, the people of Central County Water District, I believe we should give those people the opportunity to ride the ATVs on their roads. Okay? I brought it up at the last meeting, I want to bring it up again. If we put signs in some of their roads saying speed limit 25 miles per hour, and we approve a resolution, okay, saying that the residents have ATV or wheeler motorcycles, they can ride it in those, their roads, we can take it to DOT. DOT come over here, do an evaluation, and they can put signs in some of their roads, so the residents of Honduras can enjoy themselves riding the ATVs in those roads that the DOT put signs 25 miles per hour signs, okay? Because I believe as a resident, as a supervisor of Central County Water District, I like to see the residents of Ventura Ranch Estates enjoying themselves. I see families, I see young guys, and I would like to pass a resolution, okay, to vote on it, and so we can approve residents of the right roads.
So, I appreciate that, but Supervisor Santana, I'm not sure if our office staff has gotten with you. We need to bring that up on the agenda, so that's just a discussion. If you want to vote on that, we need to bring it up on the agenda.
That's my people, I will bring it up the next.
Please, make sure it's on the agenda, baby. It has to be on the agenda if you want to vote on it. Bring it up, thank you. Mr. Alvarez, you have anything? Supervisor report?
Yeah, I think, I just want to mention to you guys that this district that you guys are talking about in Lee County has a $17 million a year budget. FYI, that's all. That's my report.
And then my only thing here is, so we can close this meeting, my only thing is, have we gotten with the district manager about looking about interns to help in-house? Internship?
No, not yet.
Okay, can we get that out for next meeting? Please get that out. Other than that, I have no other things. We have a motion on the floor to close the meeting. We have a motion, have a second. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.